All right, welcome to another episode of the Final Percent podcast. I have one of my very best friends with me, and it's kind of hard to say friends. It's almost weird to say friends to you because you're family.
Yeah,
like
basically.
100%. Like, so where are we sitting right now? How crazy is this?
Dude, we're at Paramount Studios here in Hollywood, California.
And Studio C.
Yeah,
which
epic.
Which has history.
Yeah.
We're actually sitting in the room right now where Led Zeppelin recorded all their hits.
That's just
Robert Plant just going off.
I knew when we stepped in, the greatness level just increased.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Yeah, because we were here.
Because we were here. So we needed to bring it up a notch.
Yeah. Michael Jackson just wasn't getting it done.
Right.
But, Mike, he's had a huge influence on us.
Yeah.
And we have Segal, who is our engineer that we got. And I mean, what are some of the things that you saw? Marshall Mathers, he did
the
some
Chronic album.
The Chronic album.
I mean, there's
the Outkast?
Outkast. Yeah.
Outkast.
I mean, there was like a whole list.
Multiple Grammys, multiple platinum awards.
It was crazy.
And you and I, it was interesting because we were kind of talking. We ran to, Hollywood earlier. I call him Hollywood. For any of the listeners, that's, it's a back in the day, way back into time,
Yeah.
I call him Hollywood just because that's when we met. And it's so hard for me to call him Andre. So I will do my best to call him Andre. It's probably going to happen like one time. All the other ones are going to be Hollywood.
Yeah, it's
But that's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
It's fitting, right?
Because we're in Hollywood.
We're in
Actually,
Hollywood.
fun fact.
Oh, yeah, this is good. Yeah.
Fun fact is my nickname Hollywood. It happened because I actually moved to Hollywood. I actually lived less than a quarter of a mile down the road
from here,
and didn't even know it was here. When I moved out here.
Well, it looks from the outside looking in. Don't judge a book by its cover.
Indeed.
So, but we were talking about we've taken the road less traveled in music because there's a lot of people who, if they have that burning desire and they have the talent inside of them, they will just keep going. I kind of switched paths. I've started a school. I'm now starting a family. I was a personal trainer for a little bit. I did this. You started a family. You've done the corporate life. You've done this, that, and the other. And, something about L.A. being here, but being here together with what we've gone through in music is kind of surreal in a way, right?
Yeah. We actually got a chance to actually record
in the studio. Okay, so the song is it's called The Path. Well, we're going to call it Path because all of the songs on the motivational album are one word.
Right.
We got Fabian Chavez on it, who is a world-class saxophone player. It's unbelievable. Ben Harris actually came up with the idea of the song. He brought me on it, and it was produced by Carlos. What was his last name? If you want to find him on Instagram, it's Vision_5 spelled out. I made that mistake because that's why I couldn't find him.
Yep.
But just randomly, these people collided in Hollywood, and a song, and we're here. The reason we're here is because we're with KMG, and we're teaching 10 students to what is it like at this level, the next level. And so I brought in some of the people that I have always respected, and Hollywood has been someone who I've always looked up to in music, the way he delivers songs, the way he writes songs, and his process, the way he thinks about it. It's just ever since the first moment I heard him sing, and I knew that I wanted to have the kids experience you and see the way we work, our friendship level, and understand that, because they look at the teachers, quote unquote, at KMG as kind of these invincible people.
Right.
And, my voice was extremely tired. I was struggling, and they got to see, I have no problem leaning on people.
Yeah.
And they got to see that process. And when we woke up this morning, we didn't know we were going to do this song. Number two, we didn't know these people were going to be on the song.
Right.
And then we got to do it in such an iconic room where, Thriller was
just saying the word Thriller.
It's so crazy, right? And so it's interesting. Music is all about, I really truly believe this. Music is about community, finding the right people, being at the right place at the right time.
Yep.
And I truly believe, when 16 years ago, 17 years ago, when I met you, right place, right time, 100%. And we've had so many different collisions along the way, very good collisions, just to be very clear, of these passion moments where we create music, friendship, memories, whatever it is. And we got to show some of that to the students, which I think is incredibly important. And so from your eyes looking at it, you drove all the way from Phoenix.
Yeah.
And to experience this, not only because you're like, Paramount, that kind of sounds fun.
Yeah.
But you drove here. Tell me a little bit about your thought process from the creation. Why on earth would you, at a moment's notice, drive? And then watching the lights turn on in the kids. Tell me a little bit about that process.
Well, I guess I'll get to where the kids were. Like driving up here. So just to be completely transparent, when Greg, I'll just say when you, Greg, whatever, when you originally told me, hey, by the way, we're going to be in California, come to LA, man, just come through, blah, blah, blah. Part of me, which is an old person that I'm working on continuously to get rid of, was like, oh, well, it's going to cost money. It's going to do this. It's going to do that.
Miles on my car.
Wah. So then, you know me. It's like after you tell me that, it's like the shock and awe, and then I'll go and I'll marinate on it for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? WTH. It's like this is I've taken that leap.
Yeah.
Leap
of what?
The leap of faith.
we just recorded that song. I had to throw that in there.
I've taken the leap of faith to leave the corporate world to, pursue, whatever it is that is supposed to be for me. It's like I still don't know what it is yet. I know I have an idea, but I took that leap. So like, why would I say no to something like this? Especially you're here, then music's involved. It's an experience with the kids. It's just a total experience that is what I'm looking for, So then I just said, F it, I'm just going to jump in the car. We're going to go. So to finally get here, and then just to see how the kids are reacting to everything. I mean, they're soaking it all in, and you just see pure possibility and belief in what they want to be. It's like that childlike belief in just like anything is possible. That's what you see in them. And then when we're going through the creative process, and they're just as excited, if not more excited than we are. When we're coming up with stuff, and then they get a chance to be involved with it. Being that I'm in my 40s now, it's like, man, you get to see that, and it's like I remember, and we still have that, but I remember when I was that age, and if I would have had the opportunity to be in a room like that, I completely get where their amazement is at, and just how just amped up they were to see what happened, and just and like you said earlier, the teamwork involved, because people usually just see the end product of a song, but they don't really know what happens. There's so much collaboration that's involved. There's just a lot of teamwork to get it, to make a song like that come together, and just to see the good vibes and the energy in there.
And I think a fun thing to have them see is there's not this preconceived notion of this is what it has to be.
Right.
I mean, that song is way different than any of us thought it was going to be.
Right.
Especially the guy who started the music.
Yeah.
But because Ben got on, it changed a little bit. Yeah. I got on, it changed a little bit. Fabian got on, it changed a little bit. And then you were writing, and I was like, dude, we have to put that on there.
Yeah.
And I mean, you were more just practicing your writing, and then I was just like, no, dude, you're that good at writing.
Thank you.
And I think another thing that's important for people, 100% of the things, what I would call flashpoints in my life, are because I chose to get in the room.
Yeah.
I chose to take action, and I chose to take a chance. You're not going to ever have that right conversation if you don't get in the room.
Right.
And I think a lot of these kids, now they know you.
Yep.
They know Ben. They know Seagal, who's like a world-class engineer.
Seagal's awesome.
And they know Carlos,
Yep.
Vision 5. And so their network immediately expanded. Their idea of what's possible immediately expanded. And if we can learn to do that while we go through life, and I talk about this all the time on my podcast, be aware when you're at the right place at the right time. And if you can raise your awareness high enough, you're going to start to realize and recognize you're always at the right place at the right time.
Right.
Just are you action oriented? One of the things that I would like to kind of round this podcast out, because we have taken so many journeys together.
Yeah.
And we have made songs together, memories together. Let's talk a little bit about when you are able to reflect on life.
Yep.
You're able to look back and you start realizing that those little moments in life were really the big moments.
Yeah.
I think we both have had those. And I never would have realized how important, impactful, and life-changing our friendship was going to be for me.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's really rare, but are we aware and do we recognize that? And I just wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit about, you know, friendship as a whole, getting the right friends, getting the right people around you. You know, what is your thought process in the age of we need to people please everyone, you know, because not everyone's like, I can promise you not everyone is as important to me as you are to me.
Yeah.
And that needs to be okay.
Yeah.
You know, but a lot of people try to, you know, spread the love a little too far.
Right.
And it goes back to, you can do anything in life that you want. You just can't do everything.
Right.
And, you know, you can please any one person. You just can't please every one person.
Right.
And so that's why at some point, I think the older we get, we realize how much certain things don't matter.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of want to talk about, you know, you lean on certain people that have been your brothers. How important are those, you know, friendships that are really more like family to you, and how they got you through from all the things? Because I think friendship is one of the things that people, they're so busy trying to impress their friends.
Yeah.
They don't open enough. The vulnerability never comes. They never, you know, make the phone call. They never say, I need your help. And I know you and I have stepped in so many times, definitely for each other,
Yeah.
but so many other people saying, you know, I got your back.
Yeah.
And we have to pull it out of them. But, you know, from you, because you're obviously a little bit more open, what is your idea of friendship, being there, you know, the right circle, all of those things? Because I think it's something that people are really struggling with right now.
Yeah. So me personally, like I have a small circle when it comes to like people that I really truly trust and call friends, and that I think that for me it protects me from that standpoint.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm very open. I'm you know me, I'm a very personable person or what have you, but having the right people is what gets you through. And, you know, me experiencing what I experienced, you know, back when I went through cancer, you start really figuring out who those people are, because like when you're at your lowest, you know, they're gonna come out for you. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's like when you're at your lowest, a lot of times, especially since I'm a person that, you know me, I'm a person that kind of likes to take on things by myself, which I'm working on. But, you know, when those types of things happen, they're going to hop out. Hey, are you okay? You know, you know, and you've done that plenty of times where it's like, hey, are you okay? And you kind of like dig, cause you know, I have my shield up a little bit. But those friends that are able to recognize that and are just there for whatever it may be, it's like, sometimes you just need to be there and listen.
Yeah.
You know, it's super important for me to keep those types of friends around, because, you know, to have those relationships and go through this life, you need to make sure that those types of people that you have, you keep them in your life. And sometimes you might not agree with those, you know, at times you might have little spats, but they're always going to be the ones that are not going to judge you. They're going to always have your back in the right way. You know, they're just going to be there for you. I just think I think from that perspective, those, you have to have that tight knit circle. You don't have to have, you know, you have a lot of people that just think that they need to please and have, like you said, a lot of people when they're, it should never be hard. It should never be that hard, and you don't have to feel like you need to please people, because your true friends don't need pleasing at all. They're there for you. They're going to love you. You don't have to impress them. You don't have to one up anything. It's just it should be organic, and it should be genuine. It should be from the heart. And I think that you'll be better for it if you're not trying to impress people. I read a book, and I think you read this, and The Necessary Endings.
Oh yeah.
And I had I had to really dig deep into that and be like, well, who is it do I really need to prune? Like, I don't need to, like, you have friends that you're giving and they're just taking your energy. It's like you need to go ahead and let them go. Or you have friends where you want to give a lot of energy into those people because you want them to be successful. You see it, but they don't want it for themselves.
Exactly
So at some point you need to go ahead and let them be, So I would definitely recommend that book, because
isn't that book just unbelievable?
It's awesome.
I think, and that's one thing he says in the book, is life by its very nature creates too much life. It's just the way life works.
Yeah.
We overgrow, so pruning needs to happen.
Right.
Some sort of cutting down and regrowth needs to happen. Yeah. And one of the things, from because you and I we're extroverts. We like to people please. But what I started realizing that I did is all the really important people I neglected because I knew they had my back.
Right.
And I knew they were going to be there. And I would go try to make more friends, or the people who I didn't think liked me enough, I would try to get them to like me enough. Yeah. And what I did was I was, sacrificing my real relationships. Yeah. And when I audited my inner circle and I realized, what does it mean to be a friend? And our good friend Eileen actually gave me this thing. She said, sometimes anytime you're going to be a friend and they come to you with a problem, you got to ask yourself, does this person need my hands, my ears, my mouth, or my feet? My hands means I just need a hug right now. My ears, I just need to listen. Talking, your mouth, that means they need advice, they want coaching. Feet, they need you to walk away.
Yeah.
I've always been the mouthpiece. I think that, everyone's going to be like,
we kind of know that.
And so when I realized that, I was like, wow, sometimes I do just need to walk away. Sometimes I do just need, even though I know the answer, I got to help them realize the answer.
Right.
And so I just got to listen and then plant a seed and say, have you read this book? Have you tried this? Because it's not going to matter until you believe it, And I think learning to be a friend is important, and it's something that you should never stop trying to get better at.
Yeah.
And I completely agree. You are never going to have, if anybody out there has double-digit super quality friends, I really challenge you to look at that, because I don't believe
absolutely you should. It should you shouldn't have that much time.
You can't have that
much time to have 12, 13 truly good friends.
Yeah, it's not possible.
It's like you should have like a handful of really like deep, friends. And to be honest with you, like as you get older, you'll find, and depending on where you're at in your life, but you'll find that the friends that you thought were the ones that'll be there forever, they end up falling off, and then you have to find that strength to actually let them go.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it might, and that's the truth of it, because over time you're like, okay, why am I putting so much energy into this now? And it's like, is
it the same drama cycle?
Is it the same drama cycle? Yeah. It's like, what? I need to go ahead and just move on.
Exactly right.
And again, put my energy into my real relationships and friends,
exactly. One of the things, and I'll give everyone this little cheat code in life. If you want to find out everything you need to know about a person, you meet them for the first time. Say you're an employer, or you want to know more about your boss, or you're going to take someone out to date and you want to find out. The one question, this is cheat codes, guys, so I want you to use this. It's
exclusive.
Exclusive. TFP. Ask them to tell you about their best friend. Don't ask how much money they made. Don't ask them their credentials. Don't ask them anything. Because often you will find someone who is like in their 30s or 40s. They'll tell you about your best friend. And they'll go on and on. Let them go on, and then ask this question. How long have you known them?
Mm-hmm.
And if they tell you something like, they've been my best friend for 2 years. If that's their best friend, that means that's their best relationship. Yeah. And if that's their best friend, and that's the best thing that they have, what we need to be able to do is identify that we are going to only be able to have a relationship that's probably half about as long. So if they say, oh man, I've had my best friend for 10 years, cool, you can probably, they know how to make a relationship, and if you're new and you guys are compatible, you can bank on about 5 years.
Yeah.
But if they're like, oh, this person, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I met him last year in Cabo. Cool. You got about 6 months with that person before you get into uncharted territory.
Right.
And that's why when you talk to people and they're like, oh, man, this is like one of my brothers. I love him. Cool. How long have you known him? Oh, 18 months. Right?
Yeah.
And that's why, like, with you and I literally just kept getting our friendship 1,000 times better right now than it was 16 years ago.
Definitely. I think it's like when we got back into each other's lives, it was the right place, right time. Absolutely. You know, and things. It's funny, man. Like, I think when we met back then, it was to set up what's happening now.
100%.
Give you an example is like when I moved to LA, it wasn't for me to be a big recording star. I was supposed to come to LA to meet my wife.
Yep, 100%.
So it was like these certain points in time. Flashpoints. And it's like, okay, well, when I met you, it planted the seed for what was supposed to happen now.
And that's another thing we just talked about. You got to get in the room. You got to be the place where it's having conversation. So the thing is even though he came to Hollywood to become Hollywood. I'm sorry, I just got to throw it out there. But the thing, you came here to record, start your music. And yes, you got some incredibly bad health news, but you met your wife.
Yep.
But that doesn't happen if you don't take action and you don't show up.
Nope.
And so I think that's the big thing that we just have to remember. Take action on your life. Show up as often as possible. And don't try to show up for everybody.
Yeah.
Because then you're damn sure not going to be able to show up for yourself.
Right.
And that's the first person. There's a reason they say, you know, the airplane's going down.
Mm-hmm.
Put your mask on first.
Yep.
So take care of yourself. Like, make some great decisions for yourself. And when you are focused on yourself, maybe listen to your friends, because your friends that are the ones, let's say, you know, at least at our age, a decade plus.
Yeah.
They are going to be the people who say, hey, you are about to mess up.
Yep.
And they're going to have that hard conversation, because real friends are the people who will step in and have that hard conversation with you and challenge you. I mean, when we were writing that song, Faith, I mean, this guy challenged me. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. We've been singing all day. I'm ready to go to bed. And he's just like, so you know that really high part you're singing?
I'm going to need that.
Can you just do a harmony above that? And I was like, Are you? I thought you were kidding, and you were just like, no, I got time. I'm like, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, this needs to happen.
But we were in the mode, and it was right place, right time.
Yep.
But you knew that, you could identify that, you could see that, and so, you know, with that being said, I wanted to talk about, you know, right place, right time. I wanted to talk about taking action.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about auditing your circle. And creating memories with the people that matter, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what we just did today.
That's what we just did today.
We're sitting in Paramount Recording Studios.
Dude, we've been on a run this past like week with recording Faith online.
Yeah.
And that was so much fun.
So fun.
We'll have to talk about that.
Yeah.
And then coming here and doing this, and then, you know, we're on a roll.
We are on a roll, and we keep showing up for each other. And that's why friendship is important, the right people. But you're not going to meet the right people if you don't show up, if you don't have the conversation, if you don't get out there. So without further ado, this has been Hollywood. We're going to do, I'm just going to say it now because I don't really care whether he says yes or no. This is one of those friends things. I'm going to need that. Tomorrow we're going to be doing another podcast. It's going to be a Hollywood series. Maybe we do dive in and talk a little bit about faith, just because that was a magical experience. It kind of reignited my faith in music, to be honest with you, because I was so burned out, and you were the spark.
Hey,
we'll talk about that.
The spark.
We'll talk about the spark. So a spark is something that we talk about a lot with each other. So without further ado, this has been The Final Percent. It's the final percent. The final percent.